everyone, I'm Laura Gale Locke with your City 7 NewsNow update. The city of Wichita has seen a pretty significant increase in house and building fires over the past couple of months. We have Fire Marshal Brad Crisp here with us today to explain what's going on.
We have seen a bit of an uptick, particularly in June and July of this year. In the years past, for the last 3 years, in fact, we've averaged about 70 fires in those 2 months. This year we had slightly over 100 fires, so we saw an increase of about 30 fires. And there are some things that we've contributed that to. In fact, there's 4 specific things. We've had a few more intentionally set fires. We've had some unintentional fires, meaning that people did things to cause a fire that weren't criminal in nature. We've had some pretty active thunderstorms that have came through the area and caused some electrical fires via lightning strikes. And then finally we saw an uptick in juvenile set fires.
With the unintentional fires, what was the case with some of those?
The unintentional fires are things like cooking fires. There's appliances that fail and cause a fire. There are folks that discard ashes into their trash can that's next to their house and cause a fire. And we only saw an increase of 6 for those 2 months for this time frame. The leading I guess, statistic for that were appliances that failed. And there are probably some things that could be contributed to that. One of them might be the weather. It's hot outside, air conditioners are running, fans are running, and people are using those things more often, and they're running longer for longer periods of time because it's so hot out. The other contributing factor could be something to do with the economy. People are holding on to those appliances longer, maybe using them past their serviceable life. Because they simply don't have the funds to go out and replace those things. And everything fails at some period of time. It's only good for so long.
Mm-hmm. And you mentioned that you're seeing more of an increase in fires that were started by children. Talk to me a little bit about what's going on there.
We've had a pretty significant upswing in juvenile set fires. In fact, for those 2 months, we saw an increase of 15 compared to the last 3 years. Kids are at home. It's summertime. It's been hot outside, so they're staying inside, and children have a natural curiosity to fire, particularly boys. Under the age of 10, that's really considered pretty normal. And so, we deal with those things, and generally those fires are small, but we deal with those things through education programs such as Y-Fire. It's a program where we not only educate the young lady or gentleman that started the fire, but also their family and their other family members, their siblings. It's been a very successful program. We have seen an uptake, obviously, in the number of juvenile fires, and we're addressing that through our education programs. And we do have some other programs that are in development right now that we're going to use as tools to address it as we move through this year and starting into next year.
How long does that program last?
The Y-Fire program usually takes about an hour and a half to 2 hours for the session. And again, it includes everybody in that family that can make it, whether it's the parents who are the guardians or grandma and grandpa who are the guardians, whoever that may be, and they come to a location that's convenient for everybody, and we do it at a time that's convenient for them. It's not mandatory by any stretch of the imagination, but we obviously encourage folks to participate in that because that is a behavior that can be changed. They need to be educated about why fire is dangerous. It's a tool, it's not a toy. It's not something to play with, and taking those educational factors into consideration and showing them that it's a tool and how destructive it can be has had a great impact.
Is there anything else you'd like members of the public to do to help reduce the number of fires?
When you're cooking, be attentive to that. If you're barbecuing, be attentive to that. Think about what could happen if you do something outside of the norm. If you're a smoker and you discard your cigarette, do it into a metal can. If you're cooking, stay with the stove and don't use the high level. If you're barbecuing, don't discard your fireplace ashes or your barbecue coals into your trash can that's located next to your house. Let them cool off. The vast majority of the fires that we have are preventable. It's just quite simple, and it's the use of common sense and thinking before you do something that's going to prevent that fire from happening.
All right, that's some great advice. Thank you, Fire Marshal Crisp.
Thanks for having me today.
And thank you for watching the City 7 NewsNow update.